want you to start as a millennial to start to think about what is it that you want at the end of the day. Millennials came into the work world in a place where things were kind of screwed up. So they didn't trust the system. And this is the biggest thing that blocks millennials from actually creating the financial life that they desire. Smart to make sure you're protecting yourself and not trusting the system. But in the same token, there are parts of the system that aren't broken. There are parts of the system where you can actually make money. And it's kind of like it reminds me in 08 and 09 when the stock market went down, and then we had another one down in 2020, right? When we had this economy that actually plummeted, and I would have people tell me in my financial planning business, they would sit there and say, oh, well, I stopped putting it in my retirement account because the stock market's falling. They didn't trust the system, right? Here's the problem. Do you want to retire one day? Why would you stop putting into your retirement accounts if you actually really wanted to retire one day? Now, the question actually sits in, what are you investing in? So there's a couple things that come to light if you're starting to emotionally react to the external world around you as a millennial by not doing the things that are actually creating the life that you want to create for yourself, because it has nothing to do with anybody else. It's about you creating a life for yourself. In that genre, it's like, okay, well, when do you want to retire? When do you want to buy your first house? When do you want to have kids? When do you want to get divorced? All these life transitions and life stories that we have created or where you want to create, you need to put those as goals and then make your financial decisions around that. This is the challenge that most millennials don't do. They're flying by the seat of their pants. The good news is many millennials did not create the debt that prior generations created, but we still actually are so fluid as a millennial that we're not actually sitting there going, I suppose I need to decide how long do I actually really want to work? Do you want to work till 65? Do you want to stop paying rent? Most millennials up to date have yet to even buy property because they haven't settled down. They're sitting in more urban centers because they spent a lot more time in their parents' basements after they got out of school. What's the challenge there? When do you want to stop having the expense for living? It's not about the fact that, yes, you want to be nimble. Yes, you want to move around. Yes, you like the Airbnb. You like to do all these things as a millennial, but do you still want to be responsible for the cash outlay for what rent costs? Because one good thing about owning property is the fact that at some juncture, you stop paying yourself rent, right? Because your mortgage payment goes away. And I'm not saying that you have to do that, but how do you turn that and twist that to your advantage? You can turn and twist that to your advantage to be like I just had a millennial. He's down in Nashville, but he loves to travel. He likes to be nimble. And you know what? When he goes and travels and he's nimble, he Airbnbs his place out. So that gives him all the travel money that he wants. But he's still on pace to, at a certain age, when he's 55 years old, he's no longer going to have a mortgage payment. And then his Airbnb rentals just become more profitable at that point. So I want you to start as a millennial to start to think about what is it that you want at the end of the day? What do you want to create? And so millennials have to start to trust your system. I get that you haven't trusted the financial system, but you've got to create your system and then trust it. Trust in building your own muscles to create the life that you want to live, because one of the things that you millennials do the best is you do it your way. Now you just need to tweak it so that you're not shooting yourself in the foot. Because many, many, many millennials do not realize the long-term negative effects of a lack of buying property, a lack of settling down, and a lack of creating a life, a financial life, based on your heart's desires. Not only for the moment, but also for tomorrow. We have to remember, particularly for our millennials out there, that wherever our money goes, our energy flows. So you've come up into a world where debt has been a major structure that people have used financially. The challenge is with all this student loan debt and then needing to get a car, and you have car debt, but millennials are also leasing cars more than any other generation beforehand, which is still a debt, which is a cash outlay because you have to go to work to pay for it. It's about the fact that when those debts are paid off, so for an example, when your car payment is done, I need you to start moving and shifting to a place of financial empowerment. What do I mean by that? I want you to then go and set up a savings account. There's plenty of vendors on there online that you can turn around and open up a savings account, and you can name it to be your car fund. And you don't even need to name it a car fund. I have a Lexus TX and I call it my T-Rex. And you know what? Because I'm having fun with it. I actually named my savings account to be that. So that when my last car payment was done, I then saved that money monthly, so I became my own bank. Because if you're borrowing money from anybody, you are not in a place of full financial empowerment. Because you're having to borrow money from somebody else to live the life that you want to live. And then you're living by somebody else's terms, not necessarily your own. So when it comes to debt structures, when you are done paying off student loans, when you are done paying off your car, when you are done paying off maybe even a house one day, I want you to intentionally, with 100% pure intention, to take that money and shift it to where it's either the next car so you become more of your own bank, or you shift it to making up for the lack of retirement money that you put away in your 20s and your 30s. And then you can catch up, or for your kids' college fund, or whatever goal it is that you have. And I would be mindful that when the debt payments are gone, be extremely mindful to not take 100% of that cash outlay. So say it's $500. Don't take that whole $500 and now put it into another bucket, a savings bucket for vacations that you're going to spend again. Don't bullshit yourself. I see people do this to themselves all the time financially. I want you to have some of it to go to spending and some of it to your wealth building for your wealth building goals. The biggest advice that I can give millennials as they grow older is to continue to keep going on the next adventure. As you get older, we tend to not go on the next adventure. And one of the greatest things about being a millennial is that you guys are naturally adventurous and you like to jump off the ledges. You like to do it differently. You like to let your freak flag fly, as I like to say. The key is as you age, because the oldest one of you right now is in your early 40s, as of the time that I'm taping this video. And I want to make sure that you keep jumping off the ledge, keep going for the next adventure. Just don't do it at your cost. Do you want to experience free coaching based on my 25 plus years as being a financial planner and ask me any question that you want to ask me to help you get past that hurdle in your financial world? I run these free workshops every other month to start to open you up to start to help you get to this next place. The information for my free workshop, click the link below and register, and I'll see you on the next workshop. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and like and subscribe to the channel. Why? Because then you can get more knowledge all the time and be a part of a community that's actually going to lift you up.